The pressure of this tainted atmosphere is forever changing, causing you momentarily to lose your balance and stumble when first you enter the central hall. Before you, astride the vent, a colossal idol looms up against the crimson light like some supernatural giant forged of steel and stone. Verily, you pass beside one of its huge taloned feet, half expecting it to animate suddenly and come crashing down upon you as if you were a lowly insect. Fortunately, the foot remains immobile, and you're able immobile, and you're able to leave by a triangular-shaped tunnel, the largest of those which radiate from this hall. Other passages branch off this tunnel, spaced at regular intervals of 100 paces. You detect movement taking place in several of these subtunnels, and when at last your natural curiosity prompts you to stop and observe one, using your magnified skills to magnify your vision, you detect that it is occupied by Natsiranim. These mysterious sorcerers are gifted in the black arts of right-handed magic, and, before their demise, they slavishly assisted the Dark Lords of Helgedad. These particular Natsiranim are busy at slime-filled vats engaged in the harvesting of Kaag spawn, a process that at first fascinates, then rapidly repulses you. Sickened by what you have seen, you hurry away towards a distant junction, where a narrow tunnel crosses from left to right. As you approach the junction, you feel the skin on your arms and the nape of your neck tingled with a premonition of peril. The sensation soon passes, but you're left with an awareness that a greater danger lurks somewhere nearby. Do you wish to turn left at the junction and continue, or right?
Fine by me. Either choice is fine by me.
Right.
Right as in you agree, or right as in the direction right?
The direction right.
Yeah, okay.
Gunnar, what do you say?
Well, one direction seems as good as the other.
So...
Right.
The further you explore along this tunnel, so the sense of impending doom becomes greater. Although the plain grey walls, ceiling, and floor of this passage appears featureless and ordinary, you are soon brought to a halt by the overwhelming presentiment of danger. Instinctively, you reach for your weapon, but before your hand tightens around it, a slick, syrupy sound draws your eyes to the arched ceiling above. Fear stabs like an ice-cold spike in your heart when you see 3 jelly-like discs peel away from the roof and come plummeting down towards your head. Each of the rubbery discs has 2 sets of snake-like fangs, which trail sticky yellow venom. At once you recognize these deadly creatures. They are Plogue, live instruments of assassination employed by the Natsiranim. You remember the Plogue, right?
Yeah, the thing that attacked us when we were heading to Helgedad on that giant metal train.
Yep.
Yeah, the little piece of
crap.
Moving dirt.
Yeah. Desperately to avoid the venomous fangs, you hurl yourself backward and crash heavily to the ground. Breathlessly, you unsheath your weapon and get ready to defend yourself as the loathsome Plogue bounces off the floor and come arching through the air towards your chest. And they are immune to all forms of psychic power. So, for this combat you have 41 combat skill.
Oh.
Right. Okay, so, yeah. Roll the die.
Where did I? Ah, there it is. 1.
Right. A couple of the creatures immediately latch onto your chest and bite your heart, injecting you with deadly venom, or it would be deadly to a mere mortal, but to you it just hurts a fucking lot. You lose 4 endurance points. No, 5 endurance points, sorry. Before you manage to rip the creatures off and smack them into the ground. Roll the die again.
4.
Right. Again, you find yourself under assault by these jumping slime piles. You manage to cut one in half, but another one attaches itself to your arm and bites deep. You lose 3 endurance points. Roll the die again.
6.
Right. You grab one of them, but another one launches itself at your face and manages to bite you in the ear. You lose 2 endurance points before you grab both of them and squeeze them into paste. You won.
Yay.
Carefully you step over the twitching remains of the free cloak and continue along the tunnel without looking back. Several hundred yards later you arrive at an empty circular room. The only feature here is a rusty iron ladder fixed precariously to the wall, which ascends through a hole in the ceiling to a level above. There's no other exit from this chamber, and so, with caution guiding your every move, you climb the rust-eaten rungs. You rise...
The rust-eaten what?
Rungs of the ladder.
Oh.
You rise through the hole to find yourself in a corridor which is strewn with human bones. Skeletons lie mixed in a tangled heaps, and many of the skulls and loose bones seem to have been gnawed. The psychic residue of pain and terror left by these luckless victims press in upon your senses, making you feel queasy and claustrophobic. With pounding heart you advance along the bone-choked passage, stepping carefully through the skeletons to avoid making a sound. But you're taking less than a dozen steps when something unexpected makes you freeze in your tracks. In the dim distance you see a score of creatures stumbling along the tunnel. You magnify your gaze and discern that they are vaguely human in form, although hairless and lean and stringy, as if from starvation. Their toes and fingers end in horny hooked claws, and their large eyes are deep-set in skeletal faces, etched by untold years of pain and anguish. You bring to bear your innate psychic skills and are shocked by what you discover. Your senses reveal that these creatures were once human soldiers in the armies of the Freeland Alliance. Captured in battle and brought to Kaag long ago, they have endured unspeakable experiments at the hands of the Naziranim. Now, no longer of use to those evil magicians, these pitiful victims have been left to wander the forgotten passages of this foul city, united in undeath. And
wow!
Yep, and there's a picture of them.
Wonderful.
So yeah, I'll say this makes these guys sound way more evil than all the descriptions of their black hearts that this book could ever throw after us.
Yeah. Why didn't they just go with that? Show, don't tell.
Oh no.
Huh.
What do we do now?
When the undead soldiers are 20 yards distant, you attempt to communicate with them telepathically. You sense that the one who is leading the group radiates a faint psychic aura, and you hope that he may know the whereabouts of your captive friend, Baindan. At first your question elicits no reply. Then, when your eyes meet, you feel a wave of despair wash over you, as suddenly you tap into the agony of this creature's existence. You lose 2 endurance points.
Wow, that's a lot of agony.
Yep. As the effects of the shock fade, you hear a ghostly voice echoing faintly in your mind. Yes, I know of whom you seek, it croaks. The sum-lending wizard is imprisoned here in Kaag, in Sagana's courtroom. You ask the wretched zombie for directions to Sagana's courtroom, but the only help he can offer is to tell you that it is many levels above. The pitiful group part in two to allow you to pass. As you move through them, your hatred of the Naziranim blazes anew when you see upon the bodies of these once human soldiers the terrible scars left by the cruel experiments. Filled with anger and remorse, you hurry away, silently fearful that Baindan may already have suffered a similar fate. After a few minutes, the tunnel ascends by steps to a cavern-like chamber where the walls are mildewed and damp. A sloping passage leads away to your left, descending towards a distant pit which reeks of vermin and decay. You shun this exit, and turn your attention instead to an iron door set into the far wall. Although it is locked, you experience no difficulty picking it. On the other side of the door you discover a torch-lit corridor leading off to the left and right. Do you wish to go left or right?
Right.
Left.
Warlord? Tiebreaker.
Give me a moment. Right.
Right it is. The corridor passes through a series of interconnecting caverns, some of which are occupied by lowly Kaag slaves engaged in menial tasks, none of whom notice your stealthy passing. After almost an hour, you arrive at a cavernous hall filled with iron cages, in which lie countless akatas, a breed of leathery war dogs used by the Dracarim. Nearby are a group of Dracarim handlers seated at a table playing cards. From the shadows you listen to the idle chatter, hoping to glean clues as to the location of Sagana's courtroom. But unfortunately, your patience goes unrewarded. These brutish humanoids seem... Brutish humanoids? They're humans!
No, they're not. They're just humanoids.
But we've been told up to several times they're just humans who joined the Darkland army or live in the Darkland or something. Seem preoccupied with their game and the unfairness of their duties here in the Akatas pen. However, from the banal conversation, you do learn two interesting facts about the struggle taking place within Kaag. The two warring factions are fighting principally for control over the Kaag spawning vats located in the dungeons of this citadel. The vats are the key to power here. They produce both an unending supply of fresh troops and a ready source of raw food for whoever controls them. Anxious to continue your quest, you resolve to leave the pen by an archway on the far side. Although confident that your camouflage skills will keep you hidden from the Dracarim, the hall is full of keen-nosed war dogs. Roll the die, give an EM, and add 2 for having Grand Hunt Mastery.
Okie dokie. 6.
Your Kai skills keep you safe from detection and enable you to cross the Akatas pen unseen. Quietly you enter the deserted passage beyond and press on with your search for Bainman. 50 yards on, the passage turns sharply to the left and you find yourself staring at an iron-banded door. Luckily, this portal is unlocked, and you hurry through it, pausing only for a few seconds to bolt it shut behind you, before continuing on your way. Shortly you arrive at a deserted stairwell, where you begin a long and laborious ascent. You climb more than 60 levels of the citadel before reaching the top. During your climb, you must eat. So, you just... I don't know what you would eat in here, but you eat it. Directly opposite the landing at the top of the stairs is a massive bronze portal, its surface inlaid with intricate symbols cast in silver and gleaming gold. A sleeping Dracarim sentry is seated beside this huge door. He snores softly, his leather-helmeted head tilted to his shoulder, and his spear lying uselessly at his feet. He is oblivious to your presence as you glide past him and silently push open the great door. Beyond the portal lies a massive circular hall, its walls lined with slabs of smooth black rock. Its domed ceiling rises more than 100 feet to point directly above a dais positioned at the center of the chamber. A flame-filled moat surrounds this circular platform, whereupon lies the unconscious body of a blonde-haired man in silken blue robes. Your spirit soar when you recognize the design embroidered upon the robe, for they are the symbols of the Brotherhood of the Crystal Star, the Magician's Guild of Summonwood. For a moment you are joy at having found your friend is dampened when your Magna senses warned that great danger is close at hand. Prompted by this presentiment, you hurry towards the moat, to where an iron drawbridge stands raised and begins to crank its handle in order to lower it across the fiery divide. You can use either no wait, you don't have... You can use Telegnosis here if you want to.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Using your Magna discipline of Telegnosis, you induce a trance that allows your conscious mind to leave your physical body and float across the foreign moat towards Bainton's prone form. Telepathically you call to him, trying to awaken him to consciousness, but you're unable to make contact. Then, unexpectedly, your psychic calls are answered by a blood-chilling scream. Horror floods your mind when you realize that the person before you is not your friend Baindon. It is a Hellghast.
God damn it!
Hey, I missed those things.
As the creature rises and its features twist and distort before your gaze, you cast an anxious glance back across the moat to the place where your physical body stands. Through the great door come two of the current guards behind a slavering boar-like creature which is straining on its leash. With relish, you release the beast and it bounds towards your inanimate body, its jaws snapping wildly. Fear blazes scarlet as you will your spirit towards your body, desperate to reunite before the boar thing tears your flesh to shreds. What's your endurance?
22.
Right. Give me a roll the die and add 1.
11.